Welcome into WagerTalk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Brian Leonard and Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com. We got college football kicking off Saturday night. Utah and Oregon in the Pac-12, Kevin. We're seeing 59 being the total in Salt Lake City. The Utes, minus 3-point home favorites. Maybe the best game of the season in the Pac-12 so far. Kevin, what are you liking here, Oregon and Utah?
Well, you're talking about two of the best rushing teams in the entire country on this one, Drew. You know, both teams averaging some serious yards on the ground this season. You know, both Oregon and Utah ranked top 12 in the nation on total rushing yards per game at 232.4 and 217.7 yards per game, respectively, this year. Those numbers improve even more, though, you know, when we start dissecting for home and road form in that sample. You know, Oregon putting up 236.8 yards per game. Rushing on the road this season, along with 297 over the last three starts as well, while Utah are averaging 237.7 yards per game at home this season, you know, including a colossal 301.7 yards per game over the last three starts. That's first in the nation, and in fact, both teams ranked number one and number two, respectively, in total rushing yards per game over the last three starts. So I'm not entirely sure if, you know, the only time the ball gets above five feet in this game is, you know, off the kickoff return. On top of all that, you know, Utah seem to be only getting stronger as the season goes on in their run game as well. You know, 58% of all their rushing touchdowns this season have come in just their last four games. So, you know, that plus the fact that Utah ranks third in the Pac-12 on total defense this season, third in the nation on tackles for loss per game as well. I think we see an under here on Saturday. You know, I made the game at Pick'em. So a +3, I do see value with Oregon as well in this spot. But overall, I do think the under's the stronger play in this one. And that's the way I'm going to be looking here come Saturday.
Sure, not a very low total here, Brian. And, you know, Utah has a lot to play for, like Kevin just talked about. Playing a lot better football as the season's gone on. They can run it with the best of them. Oregon, they got their eyes on the playoffs here, to punching their ticket in. What are you liking here in Salt Lake Saturday night?
Yeah, the under makes a lot of sense from your traditional handicapping. Two teams that like to run the football. It takes time off the clock, so I can't argue with the under there. A little pet peeve for myself. I hate the rankings. I hate the national rankings. It's a complete waste of time. They should just let Vegas and the offshores make the rankings. You got Utah as a 3-point home favorite here, basically, which means that on a neutral, these teams are even. Oregon's ranked fourth in the country. Utah's ranked 24th. And you're telling me these teams are equal? I do. I agree. They're equal. They're closer to equal. But the standings and the rankings are saying Oregon's playing for a chance to play for the national championship, where here is poor old Utah just playing out the season. To me, I've got to take a look at the lesser-ranked team at home here on Utah. It's a team, as you mentioned, as was mentioned, they really struggled to start the season. Started the year 0-4 against the spread, losing to BYU, San Diego State in triple overtime, 11-point win over Washington State, and they beat Weber State in the opener. But this is a team that's played a lot better ball as of late. They've covered, 4 out of 6. The only two games they don't cover last week at Arizona, which obviously I believe they just overlooked Arizona in that contest, and then that game against Oregon State at Oregon State, in which they lost by 10. So you got a team on an undefeated home field here, feeling totally disrespected by the standings, where Oregon's number 4 and Utah's number 24. Oregon, other than that win over Ohio State, where if you watched Ohio State early, they were not playing well. They're playing much better ball right now. They haven't done, at least in my mind, a whole lot. They win at UCLA by 3. They win at Washington by 10, but both those teams have been a little bit disappointing, especially Washington. I like the Utah side here, and I agree with Kevin on the under. Maybe I'll end up on an Oregon points under is probably the way to look at it in this one.
Good analysis there, Brian. Just one quick follow-up for you. Vegas does the rankings. That would be more for the best teams to make the playoffs. Do you think there should be any, most deserving team to make the playoff, though? Shouldn't it be a mixture?
It possibly should be, but anybody who does power ratings right now does not have Cincinnati up that high. I don't think most people who do power ratings have Oregon up that high. Oregon's basing their entire season off that Ohio State win. If you're asking me right now, Ohio State and Cincinnati, Ohio State's at least a 7-point favorite over Cincinnati on a neutral. In Ohio, when they played Oregon the first time, Ohio State was a 14.5-point favorite. They're not going to be that high, but they'd be at least a touchdown. So I think Ohio State right now is the second best team in the country, playing great ball. But Georgia's the team that has just been so impressive to me. So it's going to be tough for anybody to beat Georgia, but we'll see what happens. Just a tremendous defense.
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. Good stuff. And hey, the Oregon Ducks trying to punch their ticket here. And one way to do that would be to win this game on the road. Tough place to play in Salt Lake City. For Kevin Dolan, Brian Leonard, I am Drew Martin. Guys, enjoy the game here Saturday night, Oregon and Utah. Also, make sure to check out WagerTalk.com. A lot of free plays. If you're looking for free plays, you're looking for betting advice, there it is, WagerTalk.com.